Welcome to Align Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I'll be guiding our practice today. And my question for you today is this. How difficult is it for you to draw near to the heart of God? Solomon built a temple for the Lord, and the priests brought in the Ark of the Covenant, and the temple was filled with the glory of the Lord. And Solomon prayed a prayer to dedicate the temple to the Lord, and he finished it with a benediction. And this benediction said this: "The Lord our God be with us. As he was with our fathers, may he not leave us or forsake us, that he may incline our hearts to him, to walk in all his ways and keep his commandments, his statutes, and his rules, which he commanded our fathers. Let these words of mine, which I have pleaded before the Lord, be near to the Lord our God day and night, and may he maintain the cause of his servant and the cause of his people Israel as each day requires, that all the people of the earth may know that the Lord is God, and there is no other." In these final moments of his prayer, Solomon asks the Lord to incline our hearts to his, so that we can be righteous, so that we can walk in his statutes, so that all the nations will know that he is God and there is no other. I think so often I work really hard to try to draw near to the heart of God. But I invite you today to let go of all the to-dos. Simply be still, rest, invite the Holy Spirit to draw your heart to his, to incline our hearts to his. I invite you to come to a comfortable seated position, maybe elevating hips on a blanket or a block. Begin to rock a little bit side to side, front to back. Find your sitting bones and settle in. Let your hands rest lightly on your legs. Closing your eyes, begin to find breath. Notice quality of breath. Is it shallow? Is it deep? Is it fast? Is it slow? And begin to adjust the breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. Inhaling down the body, exhaling up. Finding a deeper, slower breath. How does the body move with breath today? In today's practice, we'll release the muscles of the neck and the upper back. As you check in physically, notice what is tight, where you are holding tension, and pay a little extra attention to the neck and the shoulder girdle, the chest and the back. Where are you stuck or tight today? Gently bring the chin down towards the chest and let the head get heavy. Maybe you can feel a stretch in the back, in between the shoulder blades. Maybe it's really just predominantly in the neck. Gently bring the right ear to the right shoulder and the chin forward and the left ear to the left shoulder, and go back and forth here as you begin to connect breath and movement. Can you guide the movement with the breath? One more time, right and left. As you're ready, bring the right ear to your shoulder and settle here. And begin to draw a circle with your chin. Just explore all the different areas of the neck. And maybe switch the direction of the circle and see if that shifts sensation in any way. And as you're ready, settle into the stretch. Maybe adjust the posture if you're starting to lean into that shoulder. If you want a little more, that opposite hand can walk away from the body onto the mat. And then as you're ready, bring the chin forward. Again, let the head get heavy. Notice sensation not just in the neck, but in the back as well. And then gently bring the left ear to the left shoulder. And again, draw that circle with the chin. How is the neck responding on this side? As you're ready, go the other direction. And find your stretch. On that next exhale, bring the chin down. Gaze towards the mat, finding length in the neck. And then deep breath in, let the arms rise and the gaze rise with the arms and the palms come together, and exhaling, bring the hands to the mat as you bow your head. And 2 more times here, just noticing the response of the neck and the back. As you're ready, draw the arms all the way up and then bring the hands into cactus. And from here, bring the inside of the hands and the forearms together, elbows together as you tuck your chin. Kind of an upper body cat pose here. And then inhale as those arms come back and begin to tuck the shoulder blades under, heart to sky. Back and forth here. And I invite you today to make the prayer of your heart. Incline my heart to you. And one more time here. As you're ready, reach the arms all the way up, interlace the fingers, and bring the hands in front. Find a bigger cat pose here. Tuck the chin, round the back. Gently bring the right shoulder forward, lift it up, and look underneath that arm. Move the shoulder a little bit. See if you can find a stretch behind that shoulder blade. And gently come to center and go the other direction. And again, the shoulder will lift and come forward just a little bit as you find that stretch behind the shoulder blade. Taking a deep breath in, draw the palms forward and up, and exhaling, bring hands behind you and gently tent the fingers, press a little bit through the hands and open up across the chest. And find breath here. I invite you to stay here for one more breath. Incline our hearts to you, O God. As you're ready, release. Meet me in table, and if you have any props, bring them towards the front of the mat. Go ahead and spread your fingers wide. Knees are underneath the hips. Start with the hips. Feel the curve of the spine as you tuck the tailbone and round your back up into cat, and let the head follow. And then tilt the hips And drop the back towards the mat and open up the chest as the heart comes through, and let the head follow. So as you move through cat and cow here, can you lead with the hips and keep the neck in alignment with the rest of the spine? So just let the head kind of follow along with the curves of the back. And 3 more times here, cat to cow. Maybe you can open up across the shoulder blades a little more in that cat. Maybe you can stretch the abdominals in that cow. As you're ready, meet me back at center and find that table again. And again, being very conscious today of the placement of the head. Can the head simply be an extension of the spine? Go ahead and turn your right fingertips in, sweep your left arm up. Exhaling, bring the shoulder underneath. And 2 more times here, leading with breath. As you're ready, let the shoulder and the head come to the mat and stack the shoulders. And maybe this top arm, this right arm, reaches to the sky. And palm behind you, begin to draw it back. And as you breathe in, can you lift your heart to the sky? Incline our hearts, O God, to you. Incline my heart, O God, to you. Taking a deep breath in, let that arm rise up, come underneath the shoulder again. Unwind from that twist. Bring that left arm in front of the right. Right elbow comes back to the knee. Stretch as long as you can. Maybe the hips come a little more towards the center as you look underneath that left arm. Let the head get heavy and find the stretch up and down the side of the body. Taking a deep breath in, rise up. And I invite you to find that first child's pose. Draw hips back to heels. And as you breathe in, rise into table. So going the other direction now, turn those left fingertips in, raise the right arm up. Exhale here, come underneath. And back and forth here 2 more times, leading with breath. As you're ready, let the shoulder and the head come down, stack the shoulders. And again, can that right arm come up, or left arm now? And maybe the palm turns to the back and you find a bind. And as you deeply breathe, can you find that stretch across the front of the body and the chest? One more breath here. Taking a deep breath in, bring that hand back up and down. Unwind. This time it's the right hand that comes in front of the left. Left elbow that comes back towards the knee. Again, just drop the knee, look underneath. Let the head get heavy and find your breath here. Play a little with the hips. Notice that as you shift the hips, the stretch changes. Find your position. One more breath here. As you're ready, meet me back in table. Curling the toes under, draw knees up and in towards the rib cage. Stay there for a moment, again, looking for release in the neck. Shake the head out, no and yes. And then support the shoulder girdle as you inhale by pushing those arms away from the body with the serratus muscles. Begin to pedal through the feet. And taking a deep breath in, let the heels rise, and exhaling, let the heels come down to the mat. Find breath. Taking a deep breath in, the right leg rises high. Gaze forward, bring the foot in between the hands. Begin to drop that back knee down and up. As you're ready, raise the back leg up. If you have blocks, maybe you bring them to either side of that front foot. Begin to straighten and bend the front leg, finding a hamstring stretch. As you're ready, extend the leg. Engage the abdominals, lengthen through the spine, and let the top of the head reach towards the mat. So find the stretch that's right for you. Again, noticing that as you adjust that back foot, as you adjust the hips, you begin to find the stretch that's best for you. Stay here for one more breath. As you're ready, release, knee over ankle, rise up into a lunge. From here, go ahead and bring your hands into cactus, shoulders over hips. And again, can you find that upper body cat, upper body cow? Tucking the chin, lengthening through the back of the neck in that cat. Finding your back bend in the cow as the heart lifts up. Incline our hearts to you, oh God. One more time here. And as you're ready, the arms rise, and exhaling, bring the hands down to either side of that foot and bring the back foot to the front foot to the back, And however you choose to do it, come down to the mat. So we're going to stay in Sphinx pose for our back bend today. So forearm down to the mat. Find a little bubble of air in the palm of the hand. Grip a little with the fingers. Let the shoulders come forward just enough that the chest floats on the mat. And then tuck the shoulder blades under as the chest pushes through and rises. Maybe you can press down a little bit with the forearms and the tops of the feet. And exhale down out of this. And come in and out of this 2 more times. Notice sensation in the upper back, the neck, and the chest. And the next time you come up into Sphinx, I invite you to stay here. Notice what it feels like. What's your range of motion? What feels good? What feels tight? What feels stuck? One more breath here. Exhaling, hands come to rib cage. Meet me in table, and curling the toes under, meet me in downward facing dog. And checking in, shake your head out no and yes. Just notice, does one side of the body feel any different than the other? The feet, the legs, the hips, the curves of the back, the arms. Deep breath in, left leg rises high. And gaze forward, the foot comes all the way through, and the back knee taps down and up. And then as you're ready, just raise that back knee up. Again, maybe the blocks come to either side of the foot. Begin to straighten and bend that front leg. Find the stretch that works for you. Effort with ease. One more time. As you're ready, extend that front leg, engage the abdominals, let the head come down, and shake the head out, no and yes. Find your stretch as you adjust that back foot, as you shift your hips. Engaging the abdominals a little bit more. Maybe you can lengthen through the spine a little bit more, top of the head to the mat. As you're ready, bend that front knee. Go ahead and rise up into your lunge. And stack shoulders over hips. Go ahead and bring the hands out into that cactus. Finding balance, exhale. Bring the forearms together, tuck the chin down, cat. Inhale. Find that back bend in that cow. And 3 more times here. Can you lead with the breath? So Solomon asks that the Lord incline our hearts to him so that we can walk in righteousness, so that we can do the right thing at the right time for the right reasons, so that we can be obedient to the statutes of our Lord. Come into this final cow pose. Raise the arms all the way up. And exhale, hands down to either side of the foot. Bring the back foot forward. Meet me in forward fold. So hold on to the elbows. Let the top of the head come to the mat. Bend the knees a little bit. Just explore what your forward fold. What does your forward fold feel like today? And as you're ready, hands to shins, rise up halfway and exhale down. And I invite you to bring your hands forward, lift the heels as the hips drop to your heels. Bring hands behind the little toes. We're heading into chair pose, so if you need to keep your feet flat, that's okay. Rise into chair. Go ahead and bring the middle finger and thumb together. Go ahead and bring them to your shoulders. Exhale as the elbows come in. So it's a little bit of a deeper cat. Elbows come out, heart rises. Deeper cow. 2 more times here. As you're ready, bring the arms all the way up in that chair pose. Stay there for a breath. And rise up into mountain. Hands to heart. Go ahead and press the thumb into the sternum bone. Palms together. Begin to lift the body up and out of the legs. Find your back bend. Incline our hearts to you, O God, so that we can walk in righteousness. 1 more breath here. Deep breath in, arms rise, exhaling, find your forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway, exhale down. Leave the left leg where it is, take the right leg behind you. Invite you to press into that right hand, sweep that left arm all the way up, and maybe you come into a bind here. So, can you draw the inner thighs towards each other? Can you stack the shoulders? What's the best position of your gaze? Are you looking down at that hand below you, straight in front, or up? 1 more breath here. And then just cartwheel that arm all the way over and continue walking towards the wide edge of your mat. And I invite you to bring your hands forward and shake your head out, no and yes. And find your breath here. Go ahead and leave that right hand where it is. Take that left hand across the top of the thigh and just kind of run it down the outside of that opposite leg until you find the twist that feels best for you. And gently switch sides. So now that left arm is in front and that right arm is just kind of tracking down that leg. Stacking shoulders, finding your twist. And as you're ready, meet me back at center in this downward facing dog, wide leg forward fold, and gently walk the hands back, turn the toes out, hands to thighs, rise up, find your plie, find your cactus arms. Can you engage the legs, keep them steady and solid, bring those forearms together, a little tiny cat. Take those arms back, a little tiny cow. So the challenge here really is the strength and the stability of the legs, while the upper body is moving in this small movement. So not a big arch of the back. You want to stay stable here, but really kind of working through the mobility of the shoulder blades and the shoulder girdle. One more time here. Taking a deep breath in, arms rise. Go ahead and pivot to the back of the mat, hands to either side of the foot. Press into the left hand, raise the right arm up. Find your breath. And maybe that palm comes around and you come into that bind and stack the shoulders. And press that back heel behind you. Inner thighs contract, so they're stabilizing. So imagine that they're drawing in towards each other. As you're ready, unwind and walk your way to the center of the mat. But this time, turn the fingers towards the feet and then back, and reach the hands back as far as you can and top of the head to the mat. And shake it out, yes and no, and see what kind of release you can find here. And 2 more breaths here. And gently bring the fingers forward and in between the feet, and turn the feet out just a little bit as the hands come to the thighs. Invite you to press the hands into the thighs. Gently draw your right shoulder towards that left knee and opposite direction. So just back and forth here. One more time. And as you're ready, bring those hands into cactus. So rise up, straighten out the legs, hands to heart. Exhale into that plie. Stay there with the legs. Find your small cat, your small cow. Rise up. Cactus arms, sink the hips. Again, forearms together, open the heart. One more time. Cactus arms, deep plie, cat and cow. Arms rise, forward fold. Reach the hands forward, finding that downward facing dog with the back again. So wide legs, but arms reaching forward, breathing into the serratus muscles as the fingers reach. Shake the head out, no and yes. And then as you're ready, I invite you to pivot towards the front of your mat and bring that front foot to the back and meet me in plank. And however you choose to do it, come down to the mat. And find your Sphinx again. So just float the chest a little bit. Tuck those shoulder blades under as the chest rises. Has anything changed in this pose? Maybe it's range of motion. Maybe it's the way that you are engaging the muscles of the body. Maybe it's the places where you feel stretch or tension or strength. Take 3 more breaths here and hold this pose. As you're ready, come down to the mat. Hands to rib cage, come through the table. And then from table, come into child, and child to table twice. Just lengthening through the spine. Again, being very intentional today about the placement of the head. Can the head stay in alignment with the curves of the spine? As you're ready, come back to child's pose. I invite you to raise the wrists and walk the fingers forward a little bit and draw the shoulders towards the hips, and then let the top of the head come down towards the mat. And find the deepest breath you can find. And notice what you notice. Stay here for one more breath. Forehead heavy, I invite you to bring your hands to your feet, round the shoulders, let the body kind of just melt over the legs. And from here, we're going to find rabbit pose. So we're going to bring the top of our head where the baby soft spot would be, right? The very top of the head towards the mat. But as you do that, you're not going to put any real weight on it. So it'll just kind of hover, it'll touch. But if you had a piece of paper underneath it, I could pull that piece of paper out. So hands behind the leg. Open up the upper back. Gently begin to lift the hips as you tuck your chin and the top of the head comes towards the mat. Rabbit. And exhale as the heels come down and the forehead comes to the mat. And inhale, you're just kind of giving yourself a massage here, but again, very little weight on the head. And maybe one more time. As you're ready, bring those hands forward, rise one time into table, and settle into child. Adjust the legs and place the arms and the hands wherever you want them. Incline our hearts to you, O God. Jesus is drawing you to him. It's not something we have to do on our own. That transformation comes from him. What a relief that is. Take another 2 breaths here. Gently press into your hands and rise up. Go ahead and bring the feet forward and wide and give yourself a lower body twist as those knees drop side to side. And then bring the feet in, come to your back. I invite you to bring the knees into the rib cage and away. So just release any tension that you're still holding in your lower back. And then as you're ready, go ahead and bring the feet down, and if it feels good, extend them long. Go ahead and wiggle your legs and your hips a little bit, get comfortable. Bring your hands out to the side, and then bring the arms up and cross that right arm over the left and give yourself a hug. Gently let the elbows come down. Tuck the chin just a little bit to give yourself a little more length, and maybe the fingers walk out to the side of the mat. Take a couple of breaths here, breathing as much air as you can into those lungs. As you're ready, bring those arms all the way out to the side. Take a breath here and check in, just noticing how the body has settled onto the mat, the legs, the hips, the back, the arms, and the head. Bring the other arm up and over. So for me, that is my left. And again, I'm just going to start with kind of the arms crossed and the elbows to the sky, and then gently draw those elbows down towards the chest. Wrap the arms around the body, or maybe if you want to go a little deeper, those hands reach towards the edge of the mat. Take 2 breaths here. Biggest breath you can bring into those lungs. As you're ready, release. Hands out to the side. Again, checking in. Just noticing the entire body. Legs and hips and back and shoulders and head. And then bring the hands up across the chest again, but this time you're going to stack your forearms. Let's start with right over left. As the elbow comes down, turn your head to the other side, back and forth here, just a few times. Can you find a deeper breath? And can you lead with breath? And then stack the shoulders the other direction. Just notice what you notice, maybe sensation shifts and changes. Back and forth here a few times. As you're ready, reach those hands up to the ceiling, reach the shoulder blades up as high as you can, and exhale and let the shoulders thump down. And one more time. And let the hands come down to the mat. Again, just get comfortable. You need to adjust your hair or windshield wiper your feet or wiggle your hips. Find Shavasana. Incline our hearts to you, O God. And out of that love comes obedience and righteousness. And out of that, all the nations of the earth will know that you are God and there is no other. I invite you today, as you settle into Shavasana, to simply imagine, feel all the people of the earth being drawn into the love of Jesus. I invite you to stay here a little longer if you can. If you need to move on with your day, begin to wiggle fingers and toes, rotate wrists and ankles. Maybe you turn your head side to side. Taking a deep breath in, bring those arms up and overhead and stretch as long as you can. And as you're ready, bend your knees and slowly roll over onto your side, supporting your head with a block or your arm, and find breath. As you're ready, press into your hands and rise up to a sitting position, finding those sitting bones, sitting comfortably. I invite you to check in body, mind, and soul. What has changed since you came to the mat today? Noticing also what has stayed the same, accepting it as it is. Taking a deep breath in, arms rise up and overhead, palms together, and exhaling, bring hands to heart, finding breath. Joining me in prayer. Jesus, draw us near to you. Draw our hearts to your heart, that we can be one with you just as you are one with the Father, in alignment with you, Father, Son, and Spirit. In that, help us to be righteous so that all the nations of the world will know that you are God and there is no other. It is in your name, Jesus, that we pray. Amen. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today.